I am Slick Nick, your personal certified Enneagram coach. It actually was an Enneagram 4 who inspired me. He wasn't trying to, but he inspired me to make this video series where I'm looking at each of the Enneagram's basic fear, and as an outsider, trying to help that number deal with that. Because for the rest of us, we don't have that fear. It's easy for us to dismiss it. Let's talk about Enneagram 4. What do 4s fear? It's not easy to say. What do 4s fear? See, another reason it's good I'm not a perfectionist, number 1 or number 3 that fears failure. Because man, I was just imperfect and I just failed just then. Good thing that's not me. 4s fear not feeling special. They want to feel special. They want to feel unique. Now, I remember as a kid, as a kid you're kind of shopping around, trying on different Enneagrams without realizing that you are. When I was younger, I tried to be a perfectionist, but I didn't have a high enough IQ to do that. I messed up too much. And a lot of my childhood, I was a 4, but eventually I grew out of it. And I think around 5th grade, which is about how old my son's in 5th grade now, that's about the time I probably started growing out of it officially. Because I remember hearing so much as a child of the 80s and 90s, you're special. You can do anything you believe in and you put your heart in. You can become anything. You're special. But the logic of my 5th grade self at the time in 1991 and 92, I thought, but that doesn't make sense. If everybody's special, then nobody's special. And I think that's why I'm not an Enneagram 4. Because we can't be special if we're all special. So to try to constantly be special is ultimately a folly. It's ultimately a waste. And that's what we're looking at with all of these. The very thing that people fear, they were trying to chase this one thing, they're never going to achieve it. It's like the Incredible Hulk. Like when you look back at the TV series that I grew up with in the 80s, it always ends the same. He never turns back into a normal man, and then it's just the next episode and he's in a new city. See, I get that. But if you're an Enneagram 4, it's hard for you to really grasp that and understand that. So the best I can do to help you is to help you, remind you of what your growth personality is for a 4. And that is, speaking of perfection, a 1, surprisingly enough. So if you're an Enneagram 4, the best version of you, to come to terms with reality that yes, you're special, yes, you're unique, but so is everybody else. The best way to help you get aside from that and kind of get over yourself a little bit is this. Moving to the positive side of it, number 1, the perfectionist is really the best path for you. To become more self-disciplined and grounded in the here and now. My son is a 4. He does Taekwondo and he excels in it. And it's funny because my wife and I were noticing when it was belt testing last week, like all of these kids are really smart. Like they're smarter than us. My wife and I were saying this. Like, how do they keep up with all these forms? How do they keep up with all these Korean words? Like what? All of these kids are super smart. And 4s are naturally inclined to do something like martial arts. So that's interesting. But yeah, so to become more disciplined and grounded in the here and now, to do more problem solving and to become more practical, to shift to accentuating more of the positive and less of the negative. A 7 is the natural optimist. A 4 is the natural pessimist. That's what I've learned. To learn to act on your strong ideals and principles, to become less controlled by their feelings. So that's interesting. And having a son who is a 4, that's kind of where one of the places that where we butt heads there. Because I'm an optimist. I'm the ultimate optimist. He's the ultimate pessimist. We're both very talented in what we do, and we're very successful in our ambitions as a 7 and a 4. But we're doing this all the time because I don't want anybody bringing me down. And he wants someone who's going to nurse him when he's feeling blue. And I'm not good at that because I'm like, let's just do something fun and let's have a good time. Don't bring me down, right? So that's one of those relationship dynamics. And that's another reason why I love studying Enneagram, because we can understand ourselves better and others better and how to nurture and build those relationships. I would love to hear what you have to say. Are you a 4? Are you basically Michael Scott on The Office? Because if you ask me, he's totally a 4. I would love to hear your thoughts on this video. Where do they belong? Right here in the comment section.